Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I have a brand new pick a card reading for you guys today. And today we are looking at your spring 2024 forecast. Yes, indeed. So we're going to be tapping into the energies of springtime. Spring has officially sprung. And we're going to see what may be on track for you in terms of energy, events, all that good kind of stuff. I didn't even realize that spring is actually a couple of days early this year. You know, we always think that the first day of a new season is always like on the 21st or whatever, and apparently it's on the 19th. Spring is on March 19th, not March 21st. So, as soon as I realized that, like, I literally just finished recording the St. Patrick's Day reading, What Makes You Lucky. So if you want to check that out, obviously it is the most recent pick a card reading right before this one. But I realized right after I was done recording that spring was like almost here, and I was like, well, damn. I want to get a spring pick a card reading up for you guys, obviously. So I just immediately jumped on it, and so here we are. Anyways, before I get into our lovely little pile introductions here to go through each pile, so you guys know what is available in terms of choices for this reading, I just want to ask you guys really quick to go ahead and give this video a big thumbs up, because that helps me out a lot here on the YouTube algorithm. Also, drop me a comment down below in the comment section. I would love to hear from you. Feel free to say hi. Don't be shy. I love communicating with you guys and getting to know you. So, yeah, feel free to say hi. Don't be shy at all. I promise I don't bite. Anyways, yeah, so feel free to do that. If I wind up resonating with you as a reader, I invite you to go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And when you do, make sure that you hit that notification bell, because by hitting the notification bell, you will be up to date and in the know every time a brand new reading, a brand new upload, any news, updates, whatever in general, wind up coming your way. That's the best way you're going to find out and basically know what's going on with that. Also, you guys, if I wind up resonating with you as a reader and you're interested in a personal reading, head on over to my website, shadowandshine.com, and that's basically your one-stop shop for everything, whether it's personal readings or oracle decks. I make and sell my own oracle decks as well, so maybe you would be interested in that in terms of adding a new oracle deck to your own personal collection. So yeah, any of those kinds of things. If you just want to learn more about who I am and what I do, like I said, my website is the best place to go for any and all that information. So feel free to check that out. Once again, that is shadowandshine.com. You can get readings there, oracle decks, all that good stuff. And going through my website is the only way that I do personal readings for people. I don't reach out and I don't contact people directly about readings. So it's all through, you know, an automated online store right there. So, but it definitely still gets to the point in terms of getting personal, in terms of what is going on with you in a personal reading, of course. And one last thing before we get into the pile introductions, of course, is my Patreon. And I would be so incredibly honored and overjoyed if you joined me over on Patreon. It's a really cool little community. There are daily card pulls, weekly card pulls, all kinds of fun stuff going on there. There's a Discord server to connect with other people and to make friends. So it's not just a place to get readings on a regular basis, although of course that is a part of it, but it's also a good place to connect with others and to really build community with one another, especially with people who are like-hearted, like mindset, that kind of thing. So feel free to check out my Patreon as well. I would love to see you over there. It's pretty cool. And yeah, that's pretty much all the 411 on what is happening. So without further ado, let's get into these pile introductions. And as usual, you guys, you can pick by crystal, you can pick by card number, you can pick one pile, several piles. There is no right or wrong way to do it. Just follow your intuition, go with the flow. Ultimately, just choose based upon what feels right for you. Because your own intuition is never going to mislead you. It's never going to misguide you. Okay, so pile number 1 is our Baby Yoda group. So we have a little green aventurine Baby Yoda. He's cute. He's pile 1. Pile number 2 is a clear quartz egg. It's very super clear. Super duper clear. Pile number 3, stay egg, don't roll away. Pile number 3, I'm actually not sure what kind of crystal it is. It's a purple one. It might be amethyst. It never said on the label when I purchased it what it was. I got it at one of the pre-Denver rock shows last year or whatever. So it might be amethyst. That's what I'm thinking it is, just because, when I think purple, I think amethyst, but it's a nice little cloud. It's cute. This one is pile 3. And pile number 4 is a red jasper doggy. So cute. Little tail. But yeah, a little red jasper dog. All right, so go ahead and make your pile selection whenever you are ready. In the meantime, we are going to dive in here with pile number 1, our green aventurine Baby Yoda group. Hi, pile 1. If you chose the green aventurine Baby Yoda, then this is going to be the reading for you to find out what you need to know for spring of 2024. What's going on down here? I got dogs at my feet and everything. We're supposed to go to the vet in the morning, but that's a different story altogether. All right, so let's dive in, you guys. Let's get into it. We're going to start out here with your Moonology manifestation cards and see what comes through, see what you guys get. All right, first you have first quarter moon in Aries. Step into your power. So Aries is what kicks off springtime. Funny enough, spring is actually the astrological new year. Pisces season, which is what we're just going to be coming out of here, that is actually the last astrological sign in the zodiac wheel, basically. It's the last sign in the season of winter, but technically it starts over again. It starts anew in Aries, and Aries starts in spring. So even though as human beings we're kind of weird and we start our new year in January, in terms of nature, that's really not the true new year. It is kind of a weird time to choose a new year, just because, when springtime comes around, it makes more sense. Trees are budding, flowers are blooming, babies in nature, baby animals start being born and that kind of thing. Things really start turning green and leafy, and any snow and that kind of stuff really starts to melt away and move to the side as we prepare and start getting ready to later on go into summertime, obviously. So it makes sense that that's a fresh beginning, a new beginning. So as human beings, we're kind of weird to start that when it's the dead of winter still in January. But I feel because you guys automatically have an Aries card, kicking off Aries, kicking off springtime. I feel like in terms of timing, that means you guys are pretty well aligned. So that's a good thing. You're in alignment in terms of timing, and it's the first quarter moon in Aries. So, it's not the last quarter moon, it's the first quarter moon. So once again, it's about that new beginning, that freshness, that starting point is what it comes down to. And this card says step into your power. So I feel like kicking springtime off is a really good opportunity for you guys to do just that, to step into your own power. So now is not the time to be meek or to shy away or anything like that. Now is the time to kind of like take life by the horns and be like, you know what? New season, new me. I'm going to get into it. I'm going to get into things here. You also have, well, this is appropriate, last quarter moon in Pisces. Talk less, feel more. Okay, so as we are stepping into the newness of Aries season and springtime, we're also saying goodbye to Pisces season. And we're saying goodbye to the previous astrological year. As I was just saying, it ends with Pisces. And funny enough, it says last quarter, not first quarter, but last quarter moon in Pisces. So I definitely feel like as we leave winter and we enter into spring, you are not only having new beginnings here, but you are wrapping things up and you are ending some things in your life as well. So there are some chapters that are closing, and that's okay, and that's a good thing because it is a time of newness, new beginnings, fresh starts, that kind of thing. And it says, talk less, feel more. So I feel like in the areas of your life that are closing right now, in the areas of your life that are ending, really feel those emotions in its fullness for what it is. Even if it's a little bit uncomfortable, even if they're maybe not necessarily emotions you would desire to feel, endings in general can bring about grief, even if it's good things, even good things that, it's like maybe this is a positive thing where it's like, oh, something has ended and now there's this new beginning. But it can feel bittersweet sometimes, like, for example, I'll give you an example for myself. When I left LA and I moved from LA in 2021, when I left LA, it was a good thing. It was a good thing because I had spent 15 years there and I had really completed the course that I needed to there. I really finished the season I needed to there. But saying goodbye was still hard. It was a good thing because, I wouldn't be sitting here in Colorado today doing the things that I'm doing now if I had stayed in LA. I don't know what would have happened had I stayed. I'm not saying things would have gone wrong or things would have gone bad if I had stayed there. It very well may not have, but it is the path that wasn't chosen. So I don't know. I don't know what that path would have looked like. But I do know the path that I'm on right now, and I appreciate this path, and I enjoy this path, and I enjoy the place that I'm at right now. And I never would have known that had I stayed there. So even though it was really hard to say goodbye because I had a lot of attachments there, being there for 15 years, and a lot of positive memories, and a lot of people that I still know and care about and love very much that are there, it was still challenging. And I really had to feel that. I really had to feel that goodbye. Even though there were parts of that was very sad. So the good news is that even though we have to feel things sometimes, we don't have to stay in that place though. It's best to feel it and release it, and then you're able to move on towards that next chapter then. So it's definitely a transitionary time for you guys, but I feel like timing-wise, it's appropriate. It's making perfect sense with everything that's going on right now, especially astrologically speaking. We also have first quarter moon in Gemini. Speak your world into being. So as you step into this next chapter, as you step into springtime, this is kind of funny because it's almost kind of like the opposite of Pisces. So as you're closing things out, this is about feeling the things that you're saying goodbye to. But as for the things you want to say hello to, as for the new things in life, it is good to talk about it. Speak it into existence. I mean, this is quite literally biblical at its root. I mean, if you have ever read anything in the Bible, when we're talking about like Genesis, and it says in there, and God spoke the heavens into existence. God said, let there be light. God spoke things into existence. Words are containers for power. We can create beautiful, amazing lives, or we can create our absolute sheer nightmares. So be careful what you do speak over your life. If you're speaking negative things over your life, you're basically cursing yourself, is what it comes down to. And you don't want to do that to yourself, by all means. If you look at like a plant, for example, you can take two different plants and you can speak words of hatred and horrible things over one plant, and it's going to wither up and die. And then you can speak words of affirmation and love and encouragement and support to the other, and it's going to continue to grow and flourish and thrive and grow flowers or whatever it's supposed to do, depending on what kind of plant it is. And, it'll just be amazing. And plants are creatures of nature. So are we. So if that's going to happen to a plant, imagine what can happen to us as people if we're being careful about what we choose to say, how we say it, and, speak the things that you want over your life this spring. Spring is a time of new beginnings, fresh new starts. Even if it sounds totally crazy, like, that's okay, as long as you're not harming yourself or anyone else. Go ahead and speak those things into existence. Don't be scared. It's better to dream big and even get half of that than dream small and get it all, is what it comes down to. Okay, we're also going to get into your divine dog wisdom cards next. So let's see what we get for you guys. Playfulness, just have fun. So yes, it's a time of new beginnings. It's a new season. It's a time to have fun. Yes, there may be certain new beginnings that are popping up right now in springtime. There may be new dreams to manifest. There may be new challenges to overcome. There's new stuff to do in general, but that doesn't mean you can't have fun while doing it. Life is meant to be lived enjoying it and having fun and living it into its fullest. It's not meant to be this shit show of like, you just get up and you go to work and you pay your bills and you die. Now, I know capitalism would like to say, oh, that's how it's supposed to be, but that's not how it's supposed to be. Human beings were not designed for that. We were not created for that. In fact, I don't remember the name of the short, but literally just last night, I was scrolling through TikTok and I saw this cute Disney Pixar short that someone had posted. And the character in it kind of reminded me of, I don't remember the name of the character's name, but the old guy in Up, he reminded me of him, but like a younger version of him. But he was like sitting at this desk where he was just like punching in the same thing every single, hour of the day at his job, and everyone around him was doing the same thing, and his heart was so sad and his heart was so depressed, and it's like his body was literally like shutting down sitting there, and he couldn't take it anymore. And then lunchtime came around, and he got up and he was out of there. He went to go live his best life. He went to the beach, he played, he had fun, and that's how life is meant to be lived. Life is meant to be lived with enjoyment, with fun. So put some fun into it, even if it's like the things that you wouldn't normally have fun with, like doing chores or something. If you got a Swiffer and you're Swiffering your kitchen floor or your bathroom floor or something, put on some music and turn that the stick to the Swiffer into a microphone or something. Have fun while you're doing what you gotta do in life. So yeah, lighten it up. Lighten it up. It is time for some fun in spring. Faith. You have all you need right now. So trust the process. I know this world is scary. I do. I know this world is so incredibly scary. There are more people out there suffering in all kinds of unimaginable ways, whether it's like financially, and the fact that like, I don't even know what the percentage is. It's like at least half, if not more than that. So many people are just like one paycheck away from being homeless, basically. You have people, like tons of people, where it's like van life is becoming more and more normal, more than ever these days. I feel like everyone's got some kind of mental health issue going on, especially since the pandemic. That was collective trauma that we all went through. But everyone's got something going on. Everyone's got some kind of baggage, some kind of heavy weight. Life is not easy, but you gotta trust. You gotta have faith. Because if you just succumb to the weight of things, how does that benefit you? How does that even remotely change things or give things even the chance to get better? You have to at least give things a chance to get better. And honestly, as I tell you guys sitting here right now to have faith and to trust the process, even though the unknown looks very unclear and it can be very scary, I'm telling you this because I'm also telling myself this. Because I have a lot of days where I feel scared too, and I have a lot of questions about the unknown as well. But we gotta trust. And what is going on over there? Sorry, my dogs are acting weird. It's like, I hear a noise, I'm like, what? It's like they know the divine dogs are out apparently. But yeah. And if it's hard to trust and if it's hard to have faith on your own, that's okay. Talk to a trusted friend. Talk to someone that you can, really pour your heart and soul into, and they can in you, vice versa. Everybody's got somebody. I promise you, everyone's got somebody. There are good-hearted people out there. And if you're struggling, there's definitely encouragement and support out there. And if for some reason you don't have like anyone, please join me on Patreon. Please come to my Patreon. And I'm not saying this, just to get more Patreon people, but because I really believe in building that community in terms of people connecting to one another and making friendships and building friendships, and ultimately people finding others there who can be chosen family. So that way then, if you are struggling in terms of having faith and having support and having encouragement, and you can't do it completely on your own, you'll have a community where you can find that. So please join me on Patreon. The Discord is really where a lot of that interaction happens. And hey, you never know, like maybe one day you'll meet in person and be like, hey, this is my new best friend or something. But definitely have faith and trust the process. We also have passion. Do what you love. So I feel like in this new chapter of springtime, Spring is the perfect time for you guys to follow those dreams. The time is ripe. And I mean, the fact that we started here with, the new beginnings in Aries and the closing out of things with Pisces, which is super appropriate, super fitting, astrologically speaking. This only backs that up. Now is the perfect time. You guys are aligned to follow your passions. So if you've been putting off following your own dreams, following your own goals, following the things that really light up your heart on fire, if you've been procrastinating on those things and pushing those things back for whatever reason, Spirit is telling you to knock it off. Spirit's giving you the green light. It's saying, hey, now is the time. Follow those dreams. And it's true, because life is short. You never know what's going to happen from day to day. And it would be horrible to keep putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. And then the next thing you know, like 10 years, 20 years, whatever it is, it's gone by, and you still haven't done it yet. So stop delaying it. Do it today. Do it now. It doesn't mean that you have to give up everything else in your life just to do it. You can start small, but at least start. Start following those dreams. Start following those passions. And, once again, I can't help but to mention this again here. If you have a passion, if you have a dream, if you have a goal, and you're looking for support, and you're looking for encouragement, and you're looking for connection in terms of helping build those dreams and build those passions, and to find other people who are like-hearted with you, once again, my Patreon is a great place to find other people who are also working on following their dreams and their goals and their passions. And you might be surprised that your passions and their passions may actually cross and intersect, and maybe you guys can help one another. But once again, just follow it. Even if it doesn't include Patreon, that's okay too. Just follow it, however it is that looks for you. Please just follow your dreams here. That's so incredibly important. All right, we have 3 more cards from the Psychic Tarot of the Heart for you guys. And you have Win or Lose. I feel like this is about those passions again, those passions and those dreams, and there's the goals and the desires there. Bottom line is, you guys, win or lose, you are in it to win it. And, I feel like this is kind of like the theme of the starving artist, in a sense. It's definitely something that I can very much so relate to. Long before I ever did readings like this or anything like that, once upon another lifetime, I used to be in the music business, and I was a singer and a songwriter, and I went to UCLA for music business and all this other stuff. And I did it for so many years, for so long, but I was in it for the long haul, win or lose. It didn't matter if I ever landed on a red carpet going to the Grammys or something like that. I just wanted to create. I just wanted to make music, and I wanted to sing because it made me feel good. And I just loved doing it, is what it came down to. And even though I'm not doing that anymore, now I'm doing this. And, even this, it can very much be the same way. Doing tarot readings online, it's a weird thing. In some ways, it's very saturated because there are lots of us on here doing this, especially since the pandemic. And in other ways, it kind of has that weird, that very weird attachment to it. That is kind of like the stereotype of the Madame Cleos and that kind of thing, where it kind of makes tarot readings look very taboo and things like that. There's still that kind of stereotype and that kind of mindset too. So it's a matter of kind of still doing this and still sharing this information and hopefully encouraging people and uplifting people and supporting people, even through all of those crazy obstacles. And then, there's algorithms and all this other stuff that you have to contend with, that anyone would have to contend with any kind of online business, regardless of what the field is. But bottom line is, like, supporting a dream, supporting a passion, whatever it is not for the faint of heart. It's not easy, but I feel like you guys got to be in it for the long haul. Win or lose is what it comes down to here. But I promise, if you guys are consistent and persistent, you are going to have many more wins than you ever will with losses. Choose your battles. So this is important as you move forward over the course of springtime, and you are pursuing your dreams, pursuing your goals, pursuing your passions. There may be people around you who may not necessarily be the most supportive of your dreams. There may be people who don't get it, who don't understand it. Especially if you are trying to, like, break away from the 9-to-5 kind of mold, the typical, like, boomer mindset security standard. You may come across some resistance when it comes to that, but that's okay. That's okay. Take that as a compliment. Take that as meaning you are doing something right. That if there's someone who is that aggravated by it, that they can't support you, then take that as you're doing something right. That's okay. If anything, let your mindset be, you know what? I'm just going to work in silence. And I am just going to allow my work to prove itself. Just watch me do it, is what it comes down to. Don't sit there and try to argue with them or reason it out or rationalize with them, because they're probably not going to get it. Not at that point, at least. Let your actions and let your proof be what they need to see. So choose your battles wisely. I would say, don't get into, talking, screaming, whatever matches with people about it. Just do your work, and let the work be the proof, all the proof that they need to show itself. And finally, we have Shine. This is such a beautiful card to end this reading on. Shine, you guys. Springtime is your time to shine. You guys are like this flower that's popping up. You're peeping up there through the silver snow. The golden sun is shining down on you and inviting you to pop up from out of the ground. Now is the time. This is your season, you guys. I feel like as a whole, springtime is going to be really exciting. This is a season of new beginnings, fresh starts, chasing after dreams, going after your passions, really stepping into your own. It's an exciting time for you guys. I feel like there are going to be new opportunities coming your way because of that. It's really going to be a time for you to just kind of like completely like revamp your life in the best of ways possible. So I am really excited for you for spring 2024. And that's basically what I have for you guys. If the message didn't flow, just let it go. But if it made sense, please let me know, of course. I'm really excited for you guys for spring 2024. So if this did make sense, I would really love, like I said, I would love to know what it is. Like, I would love to know what your passion is. What is it that you're going for? And I'm going to be more excited for you guys come like the summertime, because whatever's cooking here in the spring is probably going to pop off even more and go to the next level come summertime. So this is definitely really exciting. Anyways, if you guys did enjoy this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I would definitely appreciate that. And drop me a comment down below. Like I said, I would love to hear from you. And if I did resonate for you as a reader, I invite you to go ahead and subscribe to my channel at this time. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button or the bell, the bell notification as well, because that way then you will be up to date and in the know every time a brand new reading goes up or any other new update of what you guys may need to know about. And once again, if I resonate with you guys as a reader and you want to get more in depth, because, once again, these readings are all general, but if you have specific questions and specific things that you want to get into, head on over to my website, shadowandshine.com. that is your one-stop shop for everything. You can find personal readings there. My oracle decks are there for sale as well if you wanted to add one of those to your collection. Yeah, so that is the place to be, where you can find out more about me and what I do. And finally, you guys, I know I mentioned it a couple of times here already in the reading, but it made sense because, yeah, Patreon. Patreon. If you guys are interested in joining my Patreon is open, of course, for new members as well. And links to my website, shadowandshine.com, as well as Patreon, and all of my other socials, all the places you can find me, all of that stuff is down in the description box down below anyways. But as for Patreon, like I said, I really want it to be a place where people can not only receive, guidance through daily readings or weekly readings or whatever the case may be, but I also want it to be a place where people can really find their chosen family, where people can really connect and communicate with one another and make friends. And I think that's going to be a beautiful thing. So for sure. And it's meant to be a place to foster creativity and people going after their passions and their dreams and their desires, and to find the support and encouragement and whatever kind of networking that they may need in order to do just that. So hopefully I will see you guys over on Patreon then. Anyways, like I said, that's basically all I have here for you guys. I already know spring is going to be absolutely awesome sauce for you. So I hope you have a beautiful, magical spring of 2024. And of course, I will see you in the next reading because there will be plenty here before we get to summer. And that's basically that. I am sending you guys lots of hugs and much love. Keep sparkling. Hi, Pile 4. If you chose the clear quartz egg, then this is going to be the reading for you to find out what you need to know for spring 2024. All right, you guys, so keep your fingers crossed. Let's hope I can actually finish this reading this time around. This is literally the 4th time I have tried to record this within the past few minutes. Every time I start it, I don't know what is going on with my neighbors next door, but someone's like trying to come home and go inside. It's like 12:40 at night right now, after midnight. And there's all this like yelling and banging on the door, and it's not cool. And it's very disruptive to me trying to record this, and it gets the dogs going and they start barking, and at least I'm still awake, but I'm obviously being quiet because I'm just sitting here recording these readings, obviously, for you guys. I can only imagine how irritating it must be for anyone who's actually trying to sleep right now. But anyways, we're going to try and get into this. Hopefully no more interruptions. So we'll see what happens. All right. So your first card, we're starting off with Moonology Manifestations, is a last quarter moon in Libra. Make time for self-love, which is so incredibly important. So it seems like we're kicking off springtime here with a nice little reminder from Spirit, basically, to take care of yourself. Self-love, first and foremost. Even if you have a lot of other people who are like your responsibility, if you can't love yourself and you can't take care of yourself, then you're basically useless to everyone else. I know this is definitely a pretty common problem for people who are like moms, for example. Even if you're not a mom, maybe you're an older sibling and you're responsible for taking care of younger siblings a lot of the time, or you could be an aunt or an uncle who has some kind of authority over younger people. You could be a teacher or a manager of some kind. There's lots of different positions in life that puts us into that place where we wind up caring for the needs of others before our own. So it's really important to remember in the month of springtime to take care of your own needs too, to give yourself some self-love as well. Because, yeah, it's really hard to care for others and to be there for others if your own needs aren't getting met. So make sure you're getting ample sleep and that you're eating right and that you're drinking enough water and all that good stuff. So that is definitely a good thing. Libra is all about balance. It's all about finding the balance in life, a very balanced energy. And that's a funny thing. Speaking as someone who has a lot of Libra heavy placements, Libras do not naturally and inherently just become balanced. We're not just like naturally balanced souls or people. If anything, we're always trying to find the balance is what it comes down to. So you yourself may be trying to find the balance throughout springtime. Let's see, what else do we have here? Last quarter moon in Virgo. Attend to the details. So the details, that could be a lot of different things, obviously. But considering we had this self-love card come through first, I feel like the details are in regards to your self-love. So I feel like Spirit is asking you here, if making self-love is a priority for you in the season of spring, what does that look like for you? What are the details of it? Because one person's version of self-love may look completely different from another person's version of self-love. For one person, they may find self-care through like having a girls' day out. They're getting their hair done, their nails done, a little mani-pedi kind of session, maybe going to a spa, go on a little shopping spree. That could be one person's version of self-care. Another person's version of self-care could be getting away from people and getting out into nature, being out in the open air, maybe going and spending some time by a body of water like a lake or an ocean, or going on some kind of hiking trail, being near mountains and trees. Those are two very different experiences, but they equally can provide self-care, self-love. It just depends on the person. So once again, what are the details of that? What does that look like for you? For me, for example, when I was living in LA, as silly as it sounds, one of my biggest ways that I found self-care was treating my inner child to Disneyland. And I had an annual pass, and it would basically be like, oh, it's the weekend. What are you doing this weekend? Well, I'm going to Disneyland, of course. But that was self-care for me, because that was definitely my happy place when I was living there. Now that I'm in Colorado, one of the ways I have self-care is by taking one of those days to escape into the mountains. I live in the Denver area, so, I'm near mountains, of course, but I'm still I'm in a suburban area, so I'm still like near civilization, and I'm still near like a Target and a Starbucks and all those kinds of things, right? But if I want to just like get away into nature and go take a hike with my dogs, that's very easily accessible to me. And they're still making noise over there. I hope you guys don't hear it. I'm trying to be quiet to not be like weird and a nuisance either, but it's kind of awkward. Anyways, it's not as bad as what it was earlier, but I'm just like, I can't just like sit here and twiddle my thumbs and not do anything. So I'm trying. Anyways, but yeah, attend to those details. What did the details of it look like? Maybe even before you go out there and do a day of self-love or self-care, write it down. Write down what it is that you want to do. Now, obviously, I would say don't do anything that would be unsafe or like be out of your budget. You don't want to like go into debt or something for some kind of self-care, but do something that is within your means. Do something that is accessible to you, but be detailed in it. Really focus on those details, because I don't think you may realize how much you may need that self-care. And you also have full moon in Virgo. Take inspired action. So I feel like as long as you guys give that dedicated time and attention to your self-love and self-care, it's going to put you in a place of feeling inspired and feeling motivated and feeling uplifted. It's really hard to find motivation when we are depleted, when we are exhausted, when we have basically exhausted all of our own personal resources, whether it's been on ourselves or for somebody else. It's really hard to get motivated and inspired and figure out what that next step is and what it is that we want to do next. But when we are tending to that time of self-care, when we're nurturing our inner child, when we're showing ourselves a little bit of kindness and love, it's oh my gosh, we can have those light bulb moments, those aha moments, those little tiny epiphanies that take us one step forward towards where we're supposed to be. And I think you'll find that inspiration to actually turn whatever it is that you need to do next into actual steps of action. So that's pretty cool. Next, we're going to get into your Divine Dog of Wisdom cards. And you guys got companionship through thick and thin. So I definitely feel like in the springtime, there is going to be a particular partnership that is going to be very much so highlighted for you guys. Sorry about that, you guys. Obviously, this video is going to be split into two. Because once again, the neighbors were kind of being a little distracting there. And I was already too far deep into the reading. We were already 3 cards in. And I was I'm not going to start all over again. The previous 4 times, it was different because I was literally just starting. I hadn't gotten into any cards yet. But this time I was 3 cards in, and I'm I'm not stopping this time. I'm just going to stop it, and we're going to resume where we left off, which is what we're doing. Someone opened up the door over there, and they were screaming at someone in the hallway. Like I said, I don't know what's going on. They seem to be very troubled next door. This is not the first time we've had issues like this, so I just kind of try to ignore what's happening over there. But enough of them. That's not what this is about. This is about you guys. So let's get back into it here with the companionship card. Yes, so I feel in springtime, very much so, a important partnership is going to be highlighted for you guys. So companionship can come in many different ways. It can be a lifelong best friend. It can be a romantic partner. It can even be a business partner if this is something business related. But either way, this companionship card, I feel you're definitely going to be working on this particular relationship throughout the springtime. And this makes sense with the self-love thing too, because it's going to be much easier for you to nurture this relationship if you're taking care of yourself. So I definitely feel this is probably going to be more on the personal side than a business connection. But it could very much so be about either a best friend or a romantic partner, a romantic love interest, because it's really hard to be there for somebody else if we're not also being there for ourselves. So I feel throughout springtime, you're going to be navigating the balance between that, which makes sense because once again, we had Libra come through first, and Libra is of course all about finding the balance in things. So you may be finding the balance between taking care of your own needs and taking time for yourself and doing your self-care. And then once you have filled up your own cup, then you're able to fill into their cup and really be a contributing partner in that partnership, where you're able to show up fully and completely, 100%, where you don't have to half-ass it through this relationship, through this companionship. But it does say through thick and thin. So I don't feel like that this is, someone who is just going to be in and out of your life. This isn't like, if it's like a romantic partnership, this isn't like a flash in the pants, here today, gone tomorrow, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am kind of thing. And I don't feel like this is a fair weather kind of friend either. This is someone who is like your ride or die, through thick and thin, someone you can definitely count on. Even if you go through your ups and your downs with this person, you guys always like find your way back to each other. You guys know that you can always count on each other, that you guys can always be of support to one another, just like a loyal dog, basically. So yeah, I definitely feel like there's going to be a lot of themes tied to this partnership during the spring season. So working on this connection as well as your own self-love and seeing how those two things ultimately correlate and mix and mingle together. We also have empathy. I see you and hear you. So once again, I feel like this is very much so about this companionship, this partnership that you have here. Once again, when we are invested in our own self-care and we're taking care of our own healing and we're doing the things that we need to do for ourselves, we automatically kind of put ourselves more so into a more empathetic place where we can hear others and feel and understand others better. So I feel like by taking care of yourself, you're really going to be able to see and hear this other person much better. So if there's been struggles in this partnership in your communication, for example, if there's been issues and misunderstandings, I feel like you guys are going to have the opportunity to move past those things and really work through those things through springtime. And I feel like it's not just like a one-way thing. It's not like it's just going to be you taking care of yourself and showing up fully in this relationship. I feel like because you're going to be working on yourself, they will also in exchange be working on themselves too, and therefore being able to bring their best version of themselves back in return to you in this connection, that you'll both be able to bring to this relationship full cups, that you won't be like operating from a cup that's half empty or completely empty for that matter. So yeah, usually if one person is taking good care of themselves, it's an influence is what it comes down to. It's a ricochet. It's a boomerang effect. When one person does it, the other person is gonna inevitably wind up doing it as well, even if it's not planned, even if it's not implied. It's kind of just like a natural knee-jerk reaction is what it comes down to, which means there'll probably be more empathy on their side in terms of seeing you and hearing you as well. So it's definitely, like I said, springtime is going to be a big time opportunity to really work on this relationship. And I mean, once again, I feel more so it's going to be on the personal side than it will be like a business relationship. That's not to say that it couldn't be a business connection, because it could be. Take it how it resonates, take it how it applies in your life. But I definitely feel it's going to be more so on the personal side of things. And also, aside from it being on the personal side of things, again, this could be about a close friend. It could be even about a family member. But I feel like probably for more of you, more than anything else, it's probably going to be romantically connected. But once again, take it how it resonates. Take it how it makes sense in your life. You also have the Joker. Things are never as they seem. So that's kind of funny because we have a prairie dog here. We have a prairie dog in a dog deck. But yeah, the Joker. So with that card, I almost kind of feel like, oh, that glare is like really on that card. With the Joker being there, It's like a funny thing, like obviously with things not being as they seem. I feel like if you're not working on your own self-love and your own self-care, I feel like if you're not working on that, you're not going to be able to like hear or see one another properly. And when you can't hear or see one another well, that's when those communication hiccups come up. That's when misunderstandings happen. And usually misunderstandings happen because then you're not seeing things clearly for what they really are. So where the person really could be, like, for example here with a dog deck, where you could be trying to see like a dog here. It's really not a dog. It's a prairie dog. It's like a completely different animal. So you may be completely like misunderstanding and misinterpreting them as they could be to you. And I feel like the only way that this is going to happen is if you're not doing this self-care, if you're not doing this self-love in the springtime. So it's basically like Spirit is saying you have one of two choices, one of two paths here that you could go down for the springtime. Either way, it's going to impact your partnership. It's going to impact a important connection in your life. But you can either choose to take care of yourself, and in doing so, you will become more empathetic towards one another and see and hear, understand each other better. Or you can choose not to do self-care and not to do self-love in the springtime and completely misunderstand one another and have nothing but problems. So I feel like Spirit is saying this could go one of two ways. And at the end of the day, it's about choice. It's not necessarily about feeling or emotion. It is about the choice that you make. So if you choose self-love and self-care, then you'll probably have a lot more empathy and understanding and transparency and visibility towards one another in your connection. This is the route that you want to go. You don't want to go down this one. So yeah, I feel like you have those one of two different options coming up here over the spring. And you have a few cards here from the Psychic Tarot of the Heart, and you have Seek. So I love this card because we have this girl who is, she looks like she's meditating in the forest. She's got these beautiful blue birds flying up above over her. She looks like she is in her happy place, is what it comes down to. She looks like she is doing self-care. And I feel like, once again, this is kind of like another reference to self-care, self-love, taking care of yourself. And sometimes that requires just like getting away from everything, especially if you do have unanswered questions, if there are things you're trying to figure out and you're trying to understand. Sometimes we have to take a moment and we have to take a beat. We have to take a breath. We have to remove ourselves from the situation sometimes in order to really see it clearly from a more above perspective, in a sense, to get those answers. So definitely never stop seeking. I feel like meditation may be very helpful to you guys during the springtime. And, it looks like it's like kind of like a springy, summery kind of image here. Everything is green. Everything is lush and green. So maybe it would be good for you to get out into nature a little bit. Even if that's not your usual go-to, it could be, very beneficial in terms of your own self-care. And we have change your focus. So, once again, I feel like specifically in regards to this connection, because I feel like the focus here is this connection just in general in this reading. And I feel like if your focus has been on the negative, if your focus has been more like nitpicky on the problems, maybe on what they are or are not doing, what they are or are not saying, things like that. If there's blame, if there's a lack of taking ownership and responsibility on your own end of things in this connection, I feel like this card is reminding you to shift the focus off the problems, shift the focus off the blame, shift the focus off of what they did or didn't say or did or didn't do, and instead shift the focus back onto you. By shifting the focus back onto you, you can figure out exactly what it is that you need in the situation. You can figure out exactly what the role is that you may play in the situation, because we're not always the innocent parties either. And there may be certain things that, Tinkerbell, that's enough water. Come on. Sorry, I have to tell Tinkerbell to stop drinking water after a certain amount of time. Otherwise, she'll literally, overdose, because I didn't know that water intoxication in dogs is a thing, but apparently it's a thing, and she's really tiny, and if she has too much, she'll have a seizure. It's a whole thing. We're going to the vet in the morning about it because it's scaring me, and I obviously want my girl to be safe and healthy and whole. And the neighbors are screaming again. I'm so sorry, you guys. I feel like I've been so on edge this entire reading, not because of you guys at all. This reading, no problem, I can do this. It's the neighbors, they're freaking me out right now, seriously. And I think the dogs can sense it too, because they're curled up here right next to me. Anyways, with change your focus, maybe the neighbors need to hear this, if anything. With change your focus, it's time to shift gears from, blaming and looking at what they did or didn't do, did or didn't say. Look at your role in the situation, because like I said, we're not always the innocent ones here, and we have a role that we play sometimes too in things. And I'm not blaming you guys at all here either. I feel like most of the time it takes two to tango, and that there are probably equal responsibilities on both ends in a lot of cases. And there, as they say, there is, this side, that side, and the truth, right? There's, three different sides. So I feel like it's best for you guys to kind of shift the focus off of the negative, off of the blaming, off of the complaining, and shift the focus into this self-care, into this time where you can kind of remove yourself from a situation, take a step back. That will bring you clarity on what exactly it is that you need, what it is that you need to say, what it is that you need to do. Like I said, I don't feel like this is a negative relationship. I don't feel like this is a karmic relationship, for that matter. I feel like, if anything, it's like a really good friend or like a sibling kind of relationship where you love each other, but of course you have your struggles with each other too at the same time at times, kind of a thing. Or if it's like a romantic connection, it could be more along the lines of like twin flame or something like that, where there is like this unbelievable love, but there's also like this push and pull, struggle and tug of war kind of thing going on at the same time too. But it's time to shift your focus off of what you don't want ultimately and focus on what you do want. And the best way to do that is to get some separation and take good care of yourself and look at things from a higher perspective, because then you'll be able to see things much clearly and be able to work on this connection and your communication within it. And we have observe, which is just that, you guys, like I said, in getting some time and space away from a situation. Take yourself out into the forest or something, do some time meditating. That's a great time and place to just kind of observe, maybe not necessarily take a whole bunch of crazy action or anything, but just to take some time to observe. That may definitely help a lot too. But definitely seems like spring of 2024 as a whole for you guys is really going to be centered around self-love, self-care, taking some time for yourself, and getting really clear about what you want in this connection, and ultimately working on this connection that you have here. That's what the ultimate focus is. It's this connection. How can you make it healthier? How can you make it better? How can you take it from a place where neither one of you are seeing things for each other for who you really are? How can you take it from here to a place where you're both feeling empathy towards one another and seeing each other and hearing each other for who you really are? So I feel like that's ultimately what's going to be the big main thing on deck for you guys during spring of 2024. So it's like it's going to be a lot of relationship work. I don't know, maybe if it's a romantic connection, maybe couples therapy could be a good idea during the springtime. I don't know, but it's definitely going to be a time of really working on this relationship. But I feel like if you put in the time and the effort and the work in terms of taking care of yourself and really listening to this other person and making the time and space for that, by the time summer rolls around, you guys could probably be in a much better place than where you're at right now if you have been struggling. So that's basically what I have for you guys for spring of 2024. Thank you for hanging in there with me, even with the weird neighbor distractions. I think I'm actually going to take a little break right now, just to make sure it stays quiet out there so I can finish up here with the last two piles. But hopefully no more crazy over there. And hopefully no more crazy for you guys too. Anyways, if the message didn't flow, of course, just let it go. But if it did resonate, let me know. Drop me a comment down below. I would love to hear from you guys, even if it's just with a simple small emoji. And before you head on out of here, please give this video a big thumbs up because that definitely helps me out a lot right here on the YouTube algorithm. And if I resonated with you as a reader, feel free to subscribe and hit that notification bell. By hitting the notification bell, you will be up to date and in the know every time a brand new video goes up. And also, you guys, if I resonate with you as a reader, feel free to check out my website, shadowandshine.com. Over there, you can check out personal readings if you're interested in a personal reading for yourself, because again, these readings here are general, but if you want to know about something specifically, we can definitely dive into it with a personal reading. So personal readings are over there. Oracle decks that I currently have for sale are up and over there as well if you're interested in adding an oracle deck to your collection. And Patreon, of course, is open too for new members. So I would love to have you guys join me over on Patreon. It's a really great place to connect with others, build in terms of community, maybe make some new friends and meet some people who might become your chosen family at some point one day down the road. So yeah, definitely feel free to join me on Patreon. There are weekly card pulls, daily card pulls, all kinds of stuff going on over there. And, links to all that stuff, my website, Patreon, my other socials, anything and everything you need to know is in the description box right there down below. So that's basically it. Anyways, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me here. And I am wishing you a very blessed and beautiful spring of 2024. I am sending you lots of hugs and much love. Keep sparkling. Hi, Pile 3. If you chose the Purple Cloud crystal, then this is going to be the reading for you to find out what you need to know for spring 2024. All right, we're going to put our little purple cloud right there. and we're gonna dive in. In case you guys noticed, you may not have, I don't know, but I did actually change my clothes from the previous two piles in the introduction as opposed to here and now. It's actually another day. It's a different day. I couldn't finish this reading, this pick a card reading, all in one day because I am kind of doing it last minute right before spring on the heels of the St. Patrick's Day reading. So that's why, in case you were curious, a slight little costume change there. But anyways, let's dive in. Let's find out what you guys need to know, what may be coming up for you this spring. We're going to get started here with the Moonology Manifestations deck. And you guys got first quarter moon in Pisces. Honor your feelings. Okay, so Pisces season, we are actually wrapping up now because Pisces is the final zodiac sign and happens in like the final parts of winter, basically. But for you guys, you're kind of carrying over that Pisces feeling and that Pisces energy into Aries season, into springtime, into the astrological new year, and that's totally okay. Pisces is cool, you know, like we like water signs over here. They're awesome. You know, I appreciate all the signs. I don't believe there is any good or bad sign. There are good and bad qualities to every sign. It's all about how the energy expresses at the end of the day, right? But for you guys, honor your feelings. Pisces, once again, obviously being a water sign, is probably going to be more tapped in and in tune to their emotions than, you know, air signs, earth signs, fire signs, right? So honor those feelings right off the bat in springtime, whatever your feelings may be, whether they're on the positive side or the negative side or anywhere in between in the spectrum. Honor those feelings. You know, what you feel is real, and that's okay. You know, don't let anyone bully you or talk you out of how you feel or shame you for how you feel, because, you know, no one else understands that better than you do. That doesn't mean that you need to like hold on to negative emotions, obviously, like bitterness or resentment and things like that. You don't want to hold on to emotions that can be toxic to you, but it's okay that they exist. It's okay that you feel them. You know, they do have a purpose. They do exist for a reason. In the event of negative emotions, it's best to feel them, understand them for what they really are and the purpose they do provide, and then release them and you can move on. But regardless here, you know, whether it's positive or negative or anything in between, the important thing is I feel like Spirit wants you to know that, like, it's okay for you to feel how you feel, that it's justifiable, that it is okay. So that's first and foremost. You know, a lot of the times, especially in a capitalistic hellscape, you know, society can make it seem like, you know, pick yourself up by the bootstraps kind of mentality. And that type of mentality does not foster emotions and feelings and processing things and working through things and expressing those things maybe through creative outlets and things like that. So I feel like there's definitely an emphasis on accepting how you feel more and being okay with that and taking ownership in that. We also have full moon in Gemini. Embrace the flow of life. So I feel like when we are accepting our emotions, when we're honoring those feelings, when we're not suppressing things, when we're not pushing things down in repression, things just naturally flow better. And that goes for, once again, no matter what type of emotion it is that we're feeling and we're experiencing, things do have a knack for flowing more smoothly. And, you know, it doesn't mean necessarily that everything automatically just falls into place and works out, but I do feel like things have a better chance of taking that kind of route when we are like truly embracing our feelings, and it puts us into that place where we can go with the flow. Go with the flow much easier. And part of that comes from the part of releasing emotions once we have felt them to their fullest ability. So I definitely feel like these two kind of piggyback off of each other. They kind of go hand in hand. You feel your emotions, you release the stuff that you need to, and then it makes it a lot easier to go with the flow on things. For some of you, considering we are talking about emotions here and learning how to go with the flow with things a little bit easier, that could mean therapy. I'm a huge advocate for therapy. I think it's extremely helpful. Doing readings here and everything, by any means, this kind of stuff is not a replacement for actual real therapy. But I do feel like it's a doorway to get into that. Just because there is a lot of self-help that goes on here and spiritual depth and exploration in terms of oneself. And that can open up the doors to going to therapy and that kind of thing. I've done therapy myself. If I could afford it, I would still be doing it right now. But therapy is a great thing. So this could mean either starting therapy, or if you've already done therapy, it could be returning to therapy. And even if you like stopped for a while and you're going back, that doesn't mean that you're a failure or anything. It's kind of like, in a sense, like an emotional tune-up. It's like you take your car to the mechanic or the dealer or whatever because it needs an oil change. It needs some kind of checkup for something, so it keeps running. And then it goes and it runs and it does its thing for a while, but eventually you got to bring it back again because you're inevitably going to need that oil change again at some point. So it's kind of like that, you know. You guys also have last quarter moon in Capricorn. Leave the past behind. So once again, that's very much like a therapy kind of thing. A lot of people do wind up going to therapy to learn how to release the past and to not live in the past. One person I can definitely think of specifically in my own life who could have benefited from this quite a bit is my uncle. Without getting into too many details, because it's not my story to share. It's not my story to tell. It's his story. But both him and my mother had a lot of trauma that they both went through growing up. And, you know, that's understandable of their generation, obviously. There are a lot of people in their age group and in their generation who experienced similar kind of traumas within their families and within their upbringings simply because of what was culturally acceptable at that time. And, you know, even though my mom and my uncle grew up in the same house, they both handled their adult lives in completely different ways. And I'm not saying my mom is an angel and she's perfect or anything like that, because her and I have definitely had our tussles too. However, I definitely feel like between the two of them, she definitely has handled things in a much more healthy way than he has. He's very much the kind of person who holds grudges, who holds on to the past, who lives in the past. And, you know, he will have very vivid, detailed memories and experiences from like 40 years ago, but will he remember what he was doing 40 minutes ago? Definitely not. He also has dementia, to be fair, and, you know, when someone has dementia, they do live more so decades ago than in the present moment. But I feel like his own issues with releasing the past and not being able to let go of things and forgiving and moving on, I feel like that has contributed a lot to his dementia. And my advice is don't be like my uncle. Don't do that. You know, he could have had so many more amazing experiences in his life and experienced so much more internal joy and peace had he let go of things. And I'm not saying that he's lived a horrible life by any means. He has a wonderful wife who is there for him through and through. And, you know, has unending like amounts of compassion and patience for him. So I'm really glad that he has her in his life, and because of that, he has a couple of stepdaughters and everything now. So he does have good things going on in his life. You know, he's always loved dogs, you know, just like me. And we're a dog family, what can we say? So it's not that he's lived a horrible life or hadn't had any good experiences, but this is more of like an internal piece, internal type of thing, that the internal parts of things could have been a little bit better. So don't be like him. You know, he probably could have benefited once again from some therapy. So, you know, I'm not saying that this group has to get therapy by any means in the springtime, but I feel like if you're open to it, if you're receptive to it, and most importantly, if you really want to do it, it may be a good idea to do it. Or if you're already doing it, continue to do it. Or if you're thinking of returning to it, return to it. Yeah, so it'll help you, you know, leave some things behind. You know, springtime is all about new beginnings and fresh new starts. So it's time to release the past behind. Let the winter sludge slide away and step into a new season, because you deserve ultimate happiness and joy. And if we're holding ourselves prisoners into the past in unhappy experiences, we're robbing ourselves of our present tense moment joy. All right, we also have some dog wisdom, or the divine dogs of wisdom oracle cards we're going to get into here. I have like two different like dog wisdom oracle decks, and I never know the title between the two. One is like dog wisdom, which I think is the other one, and this one's the divine dogs of wisdom. Either way, it's dogs and wisdom. So you guys have purpose. Follow your path. Okay. So emotional healing may be a part of the path right now. And I feel like in doing some emotional healing this springtime, you're going to figure out your purpose even more so. Especially if you've been lost and you've been confused and maybe you've been unsure of what your purpose is. Maybe your world has been shaken up, and maybe once upon a time you thought you knew what your purpose was, and then things went wrong and things went crazy. And now you're kind of like starting from ground zero, and you're like, I don't know where to go from here. I don't know how to build upwards. I don't know what I want. I don't know how to do anything. Like, you could be totally lost and confused. But I feel like going through that emotional healing process is really going to help you guys figure out what your path is, what your purpose is, and how to follow it. But either way, now is the time to do that. Now is not the time to be following someone else's purpose for your life. You follow your purpose for your life, because no one else is here to live your life but you. So if you're not living your life the way you want to, and you know you're living it for someone else or something else, that's a shame. Don't do that. Live it for you. Guidance, help is on the way. Now, if this doesn't say like therapy vibes, I don't know what does. Yeah, I feel like you guys are kind of like my lost puppy group. That you guys may be a little lost, a little confused. That, you know, maybe wintertime or fall, or you know, the seasons leading up to this spring, maybe it got beat up a little bit, kind of tossed around by the winds of life, and it's, you know, kind of left you a little bit disoriented there, and that's okay. It happens to the best of us. I've been there. So if you're worried about figuring out where to go, you guys are going to get this. And, you know, obviously that's one of the reasons why I do what I do here in terms of, you know, readings and that kind of stuff. Now, once again, like I said, in no way would I say that myself or any reader out there is a substitute for therapy. Definitely not. I feel that this is a helpful outlet. I feel like this is, and I definitely do my best to make this a safe outlet. And I feel like this outlet, you can definitely get more in touch and maybe like the spiritual side and maybe some untangible aspects that you wouldn't necessarily get in therapy. But this is not a replacement for therapy, obviously. This is just another helpful aid, doing readings here online. And I'm going to suggest this as a suggestion for you guys. And once again, this is not a replacement for therapy, but it might help you in terms of guidance in general and being in a safe place, because YouTube videos and the stuff that I post on TikTok and Instagram, that's all open for the public. So it's like anyone can come in there for that. But if you guys are looking for a safe place and you're looking for a little bit of guidance, not to the level of therapy, obviously. I'm not a professional, and other people who are in my Patreon community are not professionals either, but I would recommend joining my Patreon just for the sake of support, and encouragement. Because that's one of the main reasons why I created my Patreon, was so you guys could have a safe space and find community and connect with others who have a similar like-hearted place in life, and ultimately build friendships, and for it to really be a place where people can find their chosen family. And when you are connected and you find your tribe and you have that chosen family, you have safety, you have trust, you have compassion, you have encouragement, you have support, and hopefully you have a few people along the way who might be able to give you some tips and wise words in terms of guidance. I know even outside of therapy, I've definitely received some, good guidance from friends and family and, people like that over the course of the years and everything. And it doesn't have to be therapy to gain good insight. So, maybe you can't afford therapy. And once again, Patreon is not a replacement for therapy. However, $5 a month is a lot cheaper than, I don't know, $400 a month or something like that. And it at least provides you that outlet to have a little bit of support, encouragement, and guidance from like-hearted people, at least. And who knows, like if you're looking for a cheap option dealing with therapy, maybe someone in the Patreon can connect you to an option that you haven't exhausted yet. So I definitely want to put that out there, just because that's one of the main purposes that I have it. And of course, there are readings that go on and everything too. There's the free weekly and daily readings and all kinds of other perks, of course, going on there. But at the heart, at the root of it, it's definitely about community and connection with others. So, like I said, guidance here, you guys, whether it's in actual therapy or possibly Patreon, or just even your own trusted friends and family that you maybe already have, that that you can trust and rely on. But regardless, you guys, you have support. That's the point. You have support. You have guidance coming your way. Even if you feel a little lost right now, don't worry. Once again, if we're going back to the car analogy, if your car is broken down on the side of the road, don't worry. AAA is coming. AAA is going to come and tow you to the right place or change your flat tire or whatever it is that you need. Significance. You be you. Oh, that is powerful, you guys. Especially with like the purpose, follow your path. When you're following your path, like that goes hand in hand with significance. You being you. You being you is you following your path. Once again, no one else can do that for you. Don't follow somebody else's path in your life. Maybe that's been the issue all this time leading up to spring. Maybe that's been the problem leading up to this moment. Maybe it was a parent, or it was a spouse, or, just someone who had some kind of authority over you, in a sense. And maybe that person placed ideas there where they expected you to act a certain way, to be a certain way, to become a certain thing, that this was going to be your responsibility, is that this was going to be the life you were going to lead. And that was never who you really were. And that's probably why it's falling apart, because when you're not living from a transparent and authentic place, anything other than that is only sustainable for a very short period of time. Eventually it's going to crumble and fall apart. Even the best of actors can't maintain that forever. So yeah, I feel like you guys are giving the opportunity right now to actually live your life on your terms. And if you've never done that before and you don't know what it is that you want, that can be very scary and intimidating and disorienting. But I want you guys to know that that's actually a really empowering place to be. That it's more empowering than it is disempowering. Where you were before was disempowering. This, though, you have a blank slate. You get to be creative and you get to make this any way that you want, which means you can take whatever it was that you were doing before, wherever it was that you were at before, and you can make it 1,000,000 times better than that. Think outside the box is what it comes down to. So yeah. And we have a few cards here from the Psychic Tarot of the Heart. So let's see what you guys got. New vitality. Ooh, that's encouraging. Definitely. We have this beautiful rainbow coming through, what looks to be like this magical musical instrument here, this pipe wind instrument thing. But yeah, this is a new season. This looks like spring. Springtime, you get the rainbows and that kind of thing with the weather changing and, the combination of, sunny days and rainy days and this, that, and the other kind of thing. So I feel like you guys got some sunshine coming and you're getting out of those rainy days and you're stepping into the sunshiny ones, which is where that rainbow is coming from. So this is a new season, new vitality, new energy, new strength, new dreams, new passions, a new purpose. So a lot of newness here, a lot of fresh starts, just like what spring is supposed to be, you guys. And that's a good thing. I feel like I said, I feel like for most of you, even though it's new, I feel like it's scary. It's intimidating because you guys are a little disoriented. You don't know necessarily how to handle it, but I'm telling you, this is a good thing. Let's see what else we have here. We also have believe and succeed. Okay, so even though the final outcome, even though the destination may be unknown at this time, that's okay. You don't have to know where you're going all the time. The important thing is to get in that boat and go. We have this, it's a boat. We have this boat here, and they're in some kind of body of water, a lake, an ocean, I don't know what. I don't know if this person knows where they're going in their boat. They may not know. But the important thing is they got in their boat and they're going. And it's time for you guys to get into your boat and just go. Just go. Enjoy that journey. And you guys are going to figure it out along the way. And the reality is most of us are still figuring it out along the way. Even if we know where we want to go, a lot of the times, even if you know where you want to go, that doesn't mean that you're handed a map or a GPS to get there. Most of us are still trying to figure out that part too. But the important thing is to get into that boat and to just go and just do it. Trust yourself. Believe in this process and you will succeed for sure. And I feel like a lot of that is going to come from you guys needing to trust yourself. And again, I know that that's harder to do when you don't even know necessarily what you want or where you're supposed to go or how you're supposed to do it. And you don't have to have all those details figured out right now. Those details will come. Trust me, they will. They will come. The important thing is to just put one foot in front of the other. It's like that Martin Luther King Jr. quote. I can't remember exactly how it goes, but it's like, just, take each step on that staircase. You may not see the whole staircase, but keep climbing up that staircase because it'll reveal itself. Same kind of thing, without a doubt. And the best thing you can do is to just trust yourself. You may not be able to trust much of anything else right now, but you can trust you, because you wouldn't be ready and you wouldn't be in this position right now if you couldn't trust you. And finally, your last card is refusing to see. So I feel like this is the only card of warning here, basically, letting you guys know what not to do. So don't close your eyes to this opportunity. Don't put a blind eye up, is what it comes down to. It's very easy coming from a place of fear to kind of shut all of this down and, going through all of these unknowns, basically. It's very easy to shut that all down and say, you know what, this is too much, this is too hard, I don't know how to do it, I don't know what I'm doing, I don't even know if I can do this. And then in those cases, we usually just close our eyes and turn around and run back to where we came from, which was never any good or better in the first place, because you wouldn't have left that situation if you were meant to stay there. So I feel like this is definitely a reminder to you guys to not close your eyes to these opportunities right now. Now is the moment to seize the day, to seize the moment here. A lot of unknowns on what this new beginning is going to look like, but you are a co-creator with the universe, and I feel like you guys are on the precipice of something absolutely beautiful and amazing here, and you have an opportunity to create like the most beautiful next new chapter ever. It's springtime. Plant those seeds, put them down in the ground, water them, let the sun shine down, let those things grow. And who knows, maybe by the time summer comes around, that pick a card reading might be completely different, because you guys may know exactly what you want to do and be on that path, following your path by being yourself. And by then you'll have found that guidance and everything. So it's very exciting. Anyways, that's what I have for you guys for your spring 2024 pick a card. If the message didn't flow, of course, just let it go. But if it did resonate, let me know. Drop me a comment down below. Feel free to say hi. I would love to hear from you. Even a simple small emoji goes a long way. And also give this video a big thumbs up, because that helps me out a lot right here on the good old YouTube algorithm. And if I do resonate for you as a reader, I also invite you guys to go ahead and subscribe at this time and to hit that notification bell. By hitting the notification bell, you will be up to date and in the know every time a brand new video goes live, and every time there's a brand new update for anything, really is what it comes down to. So I definitely invite you to go ahead and do that. And also, if I resonate with you as a reader, feel free to head on over to my website, shadowandshine.com, and that is your one-stop shop for pretty much everything. So if you're interested in a personal reading, or if you want to pick up one of my oracle decks, that's the place to do it. And as for Patreon, I know I mentioned that earlier here in this video. Patreon memberships are open and available. I would be honored to have you there regardless, either way. So yeah, like I said, it's a great place to be. It's a great community. Links to my Patreon, my website, my other social sites, and anything and everything that you need to know is all in the description box down below. You guys can check that out there. So that's basically everything you need to know. And I want to thank you guys for hanging out here with me today. I am wishing you a very blessed and very abundant spring 2024. I know this all here is going to work out for you guys. You guys got this. Trust yourself. I believe in you. If no one else does, I definitely do right here. And I am sending you guys lots of hugs and much love. Keep sparkling. Hi, Pile 4. If you chose the red Jasper dog, then this is going to be the reading for you to find out what you need to know for spring of 2024. And in case you guys didn't notice, I had a little bit of a costume change here. I know in the first two pick a card readings and the introduction, I was wearing a gray sweatshirt, and I just wasn't able to finish this whole reading in one sitting in one day, because I did do it right on the heels of the St. Patrick's Day reading, and like it was so close to spring. I was like, oh my gosh, I have to finish, and I couldn't do it all within the same day. But I'm here and finishing it now, with a little bit of a wardrobe change, and that's okay. But let's dive in. Let's see what you guys need to know. What's coming up on deck for you guys this spring of 2024. All right, so we're going to start off here with some Moonology manifestation cards, and you guys got, wait, oh, sorry, bless me, a random sneeze out of nowhere. Maybe the sneeze is of some kind of significance, who knows, take it as it resonates. Take the sneeze how it resonates. I am so weird at times. Last quarter moon in Cancer. Take a breather. All right. So we got some, oh, geez. We got some sneezing action going on. Can I get through this reading without sneezing? I don't know. We'll see. But anyways, we got some water sign action going on here with Cancer. And yeah, take a breather. So the first thing that came to my mind here is spring break. Spring break, because the first day of spring does fall right around the time a lot of people do have their spring breaks. So perhaps that's you. Maybe you're going to be on spring break. Maybe you're a teacher or a student or someone who would benefit from spring break. But even if you're not on spring break or going to be on spring break, I feel like the overall consensus here is to just take it easy, just relax, if you have been putting your pedal to the metal, kind of go up until this point, Spirit is saying like, hey, slow down, take it easy, relax, let's relax a little bit here. So kind of like you need to just hang and chill kind of vibe at the start of spring here. So let's see what else is going on. Let's see what else is happening here. First quarter moon in Aquarius. Trust the universe. Okay, so I feel like doing this may be a challenge for some of you guys. Taking a breather, easing your foot up off of the gas pedal, maybe not working as hard. I feel like that's going to be a challenge for some of you. That it's kind of a scary asking you to do that. But for some of you, you may be like, no, I can't take a break. I can't take a breather. I have this going on, that going on. I have this responsibility, that responsibility. I got to take care of this person, that person, so on and so forth. I get it. You have a lot going on. You have a busy life. I am not saying that you don't at all. But just because you have a lot going on doesn't mean that you shouldn't relax and try to take it easy. That doesn't mean that you neglect responsibilities, obviously, but it does mean that, maybe you take a little bit more time, that you don't do it to the point of exhaustion and burnout, because if you are experiencing exhaustion and burnout, that is an indication to slow down. So in the event of that, you need to trust the universe, that the universe is going to pick up the pieces for you where you can't necessarily do it all. This could mean delegating, for example. Usually if you're someone who has a lot going on and you can't just like take every single task on, you may need to delegate, whether it's in the household and taking care of chores and responsibilities there, or it could be on the job, maybe having other coworkers take on certain tasks that you can't necessarily do everything, kind of a thing. So delegation could be a solution here when it comes to that. But regardless, you need to trust the universe. I almost kind of feel like I'm speaking to my workaholics here. So if you are a workaholic kind of person, if that's your mentality, maybe you're a little type A, this reading might be for you. We also have last quarter moon in Aquarius. Reflect on your priorities. Okay, so I feel like that makes sense in terms of the delegation kind of thing. If you are reflecting on your priorities, then, maybe that'll help you. I don't know exactly what your process is in terms of processing things, but if you're the kind of person who creates like lists, for example, like I know I do that a lot. Like literally every single day I have like a checklist of things that I try to like go through and check off. And for me, it's helpful having that visual there, and then it keeps me accountable, and I don't have to like go back and just like think in my mind like, what did I forget? Did I forget to put something down? Did I forget to run that errand? Did I forget to pay that bill? Did I forget to do whatever it is I was supposed to do? That's not going to wind up happening. So definitely, in terms of that, reflect on your priorities. Reflect on the things that you know that you need to do yourself that are like 100% something that you don't want to trust other people with, that you wouldn't trust other people with. It could be things that you actually really want to do yourself. So I would definitely figure out what those priorities are. Make a list of those priorities, and then you can really like narrow it down from there and start delegating and be just like, okay, I figured out the things that are top priority to me. What isn't as important? What are some things here that I can let go of? And if I can, who is best suited to handle those responsibilities, whether it's within the home or on the job. So definitely, I feel like reflecting on your priorities, kind of taking an inventory of things that need to get done is going to be very helpful. It's going to help you trust the universe better as you delegate, and that way then you can relax a little bit. I almost kind of feel like you won't necessarily relax a little bit at first, even if you do this, because then you're going to be on edge like, are they really taking care of what I asked them to do? Are they really doing it? Are they doing it right? Just trust them. It's like the whole, as I kick the ring light stand accidentally, it's like the person who you trust someone else to fill the dishwasher, and they willingly do it. They're like, yeah, I can help out. I can give you a hand, and I can fill the dishwasher for you. And then you come back later, and then you see the dishwasher isn't loaded the way you wanted it. Don't be that person. Don't be that type A. The important thing is this person stepped up and volunteered and was like, yeah, I want to help you out. I will load the dishwasher. As long as like nothing is broken and the job is going to get done, let them load the dishwasher the way they're going to do it. Like maybe just don't even open the dishwasher. Just let them take care of it, and you'll see the dishes again once they're out of the dishwasher and they're clean, okay? So don't be anal about it. As long as the task gets done, who cares how they do it, as long as it gets done. So, try not to stress and try not to worry about this. Like I said, I feel like I'm talking to my type A people. So, yeah. Let's see. Oh, I'm going to go with your Divine Dog of Wisdom cards next. So we're going to go with those next in this batch. So let's see what the doggies have to say to you guys. Speaking of the doggies, we have allowing, let it happen. Once again, my type A's, allow people to help you. Allow people to do things the way that they need to do it. No one is intentionally trying to hurt you. Once again, I'm going back to this dishwasher analogy. If somebody willingly wants to help you and they're being genuine and they're coming from a good place and the job still gets done, that's all that matters. Just because the dishwasher isn't loaded the way you wanted it to doesn't mean that that person is trying to hurt you. That's not what they're trying to do. Just because someone does it a different way than you do doesn't mean they're making it worse for you. You might be surprised and actually may turn out better than how it would have been if you had just done it yourself. So, allow people to help you and allow people to be themselves and do it their way and trust, and I feel like you guys are smart enough and together enough here that you would never trust someone in delegating these situations and responsibilities. You would never delegate that to someone who you didn't trust, who you knew was shady and up to no good. I know you guys wouldn't do that. So, trust yourself a little bit better in terms of your judgment and trust the people that you are entrusting with where you're delegating here. Okay. We also have forgiveness. Set yourself free. Okay, so I think it's interesting here. It says set yourself free, not necessarily set the other person free, but set yourself free. I feel like one of the reasons why you guys may struggle here with this very type A type of mentality is because you guys are ultimately really rough on yourself. And if you do wind up being a little bit harsh on other people, it's not necessarily a reflection of them as to why you do it. You do it as a reflection of yourself because you're just hard on yourself. And there could be a lot of reasons as to why that is. It could have been how you were raised. Maybe you had a parent who was very critical and harsh on you, and they were not as loving and nurturing as what you needed. That could be possible. It could be a lot of different reasons. But regardless of what the reason is, I feel like at the end of the day, you are your own worst critic. And nobody bullies themselves more than you do, is what it comes down to. And that reflects in your relationships to other people, because then you kind of wind up doing that to others. Don't do that to yourself and don't do that to others. Love yourself. It's okay. It's okay if you make a mistake. It's okay if things are messy. It's okay if things need to be redone sometimes. It's okay. It's life. This is not perfection. It's fine. But I feel like if you loosen the reins a little bit here and you love yourself a little bit more here and you allow room for yourself to make mistakes a little bit more, it's going to make things a lot easier for you. Basically, it's don't be so uptight. Tinkerbell, don't overdo it with the water. Tinkerbell's drinking some water. I'm always paranoid with her with water now because of her seizure situations that have been going on lately. That's fine. You can have water. I just don't want you to overdo it. Okay? Okay. Anyways, she's back under the desk in her bed now. Actually, technically it's Shadow's bed, but he is over on the couch right now. So, anyways, they share beds. I mean, how many dog beds do I have in this room right now? There's 4 of them total, I think. Anyways, I'm getting off track. But yeah, be kind to you. Forgive you is what it comes down to. At the end of the day, that is why we forgive. It releases us from a prison, is what it comes down to. So forgive yourself. Like, it's okay. You don't have to be so rigid about these things. You don't have to have control over everything. It's actually a lot harder if we're trying to control things constantly. Because at the end of the day, the only people we can truly control are ourselves, whether it's our own choices, our words, our actions, or the way we react to things happening in the world. And to the people around us. At the end of the day, we are only responsible for ourselves with that. But most of the time, like 80% of life is reacting to what happens around us. 20% is other stuff. But yeah, so you guys need to let go, because there are going to be way more situations and circumstances that are going to be out of your control than in your control. So it's better to learn how to navigate through that stuff than to try to manipulate things and change things that you can't necessarily always just automatically change. Okay. Your next doggy card is, anger. Feel the heat, then turn it down. Okay, so we have a very upset puppy dog here. Okay. Once again, I'm going back to the dishwashing example because I feel like it's an easy example and it's a relatable example. So when that person helps you out and they don't load the dishwasher the way that you want it to, I get it. You guys are going to be mad. You're going to be angry. That doesn't mean that you're not allowed to feel the emotions that you're going to feel. Because we can't necessarily always control that. Emotions are fickle and tricky little things. They spring up on us, whether it's for the positive or for the negative. So, just because they load the dishwasher wrong, for example, that doesn't mean that you're not going to feel that anger. You very well may still feel that anger, and that's okay. I think the important thing here is don't take the anger out on them. Feel it, yes, accept that, accept that you are feeling that anger and be just like, okay, I am angry about this right now. I would say don't approach the situation from an angry place. Go take that anger out in a different way. Go to a rage room if you have to. Maybe do some exercise or something to physically exhaust and get that energy out of your system. Go for a long drive, whatever it is that works for you to kind of diffuse that. But feel it, release it, and once you've released it and cooled down, then if you feel like you really need to address it, go ahead and address it, but at least you'll be coming from a calm and relaxed place. It won't be coming out of anger like, why did you put the mugs up here? They should have been over here. That doesn't work out well for anybody. The person on the receiving end doesn't like it, and obviously it's not an enjoyable experience for you either, the person yelling about it. So once again, that's just with the dishwashing as the example, but you can apply that to anything where you are delegating responsibility and somebody else is doing something that you would normally do. And I keep hitting my ring light for some reason. And maybe they don't do it exactly the way you want to do it. But once again, just give them a chance. You might be surprised. They might actually blow your mind in doing something that you really like in this situation as opposed to wrong. We also have a few cards here from the Psychic Tarot of the Heart. Oh, release. Release. That goes right here with forgiveness, you guys. Let go. Let go. Like I said, this is this is a tough nut to crack for type A people, without a doubt. It's really hard to release the control. And, you know, I'm not going to lie to you guys. You're not going to be perfect at this. You're going to have some days that are going to be more challenging than others throughout the course of the springtime. But I feel like this is the route that Spirit is taking you over the course of spring, where it's like Spirit really wants to refine kind of like your inner control freak is what it comes down to. And at the end of the day, did you know that people ultimately use control out of fear? Not because they're trying to instill fear in others, but because they themselves are feeling fear, because they themselves are scared. And so therefore they try to control other people or situations and circumstances around them because they're scared. And, you know, I'm not saying you're not going to not feel fear or whatever it is that you feel that kind of like drives you into that place of control. But there's going to be windows of opportunity to figure out how to deal with that, fear when that does strike, how to deal with that frustration when that happens. So yeah, I feel like this is going to be kind of a challenging season for you guys, because I don't feel like this is going to come naturally at all. I feel like this is going to feel very foreign, this entire practice of releasing and letting go and allowing others to kind of step up and just kind of like letting go of that type A control shit. I feel like that's going to be very challenging for you guys. But I don't feel like every day is going to be horrible. I feel like if you guys are really mindful about this, you have the opportunity to really balance this out. You may always be a little bit on that type A side, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's a time and a place for that. You know, there are beneficial areas to those qualities as well. But I feel like Spirit is trying to balance this energy out in you a little bit this season, you know, kind of like round and soften those edges on you. And that can be painful. That's like you're literally being sanded down from a spiritual standpoint. So I'm not going to lie to you guys. I feel like this is going to be rough, and I feel like there's going to be some challenges here for you. But I feel like if you're on board and you're open to those changes, the more flexible within you are, the smoother this is going to go for you, and you're going to see and experience better results. Healing begins. Yes, this is going to be very healing for you guys. Because like I said, I feel like for a lot of you, if you do experience like this controlling kind of nature, I'm not saying you're like a controlling bad person, but you know, people who can lean on type A personalities are usually more controlling. They have to have things a certain way. They have to have things done a certain way at a certain time. They're usually pretty organized and particular. And I'm only saying I know all this because I'm basically describing my mom. My mom is very type A. She's very much like this. And she's not a bad person at all, but it can definitely make things rough around the edges with her when she gets into one of those very particular moments, is what it comes down to. So it doesn't make you a bad person, but it's going to be healing for you guys, because like I said, it's going to be a time to balance this type of energy out. And a lot of people who can be very type A like that, it's usually something that they learn as like a way to cope and handle and deal with things from something that they grew up with. So like I said, I feel like there might have been a parent, a teacher, a sibling, someone who is probably an authority figure of some sort. I feel like for most people, it's probably going to be a parent. That was probably hard on you. And because they were hard on you, you know, this is kind of like how you've internalized it. Like, okay, I need to be perfect, and I need to have all my ducks in a row and all that kind of stuff. So it's going to be healing a lot of that kind of energy. And finally, we have detach. Oh, detach and release. Detach and release, you guys. You got 2 cards here, basically kind of saying the same thing, just in different ways. You gotta let go. You gotta let go. I would say when it comes to delegating these responsibilities, because I feel like delegation is going to be a huge thing you guys are going to be learning over the course of spring. How to delegate well, how to do it effectively where it's beneficial to you and to the other people that you are handing off responsibilities to. Think of it this way, if these responsibilities are grains of sand, right? If you are holding on to it too tight, you're going to see all that sand slip through the cracks between your fingers, right? And then it's like, what was the point of even holding on to it? But if you just kind of like, not squeeze it tight, but if you just loosely hold on to that sand, it's going to stay in your hand and it's not going to go anywhere and you'll still have it. So if you notice, you still have it. You still have possession of that thing, but you're not holding on to it so tight that you lose it. So try to think of it that way. And I don't know if any of you have ever like held a bird in your hand. It's very much the same kind of thing. I used to have parakeets, and when one of the parakeets would get sick, you would have to like hold them in your hand to administer medicine to them. And they would, I don't have like anything around me here. It's like a good example. Like, how can I show a good example? Oh, I'll use Baby Yoda as my example. So here's Baby Yoda. We'll pretend he's a bird for a minute, a very tiny bird. But, basically, you lay him down in the palm of your hand, back down, belly up, right? And you'd be holding the bird like that, right? And since their belly was up, you never want to like squeeze on their belly, because if you squeeze on their belly, you could like suffocate them. You could squeeze their heart basically and like kill them. So it would be this very fine and delicate process of finding a way to hold them firmly and loosely at the same time. And honestly, the best way to do that would be to try and like get their head in between your pointer finger and your middle finger and like really get a good grip here on the head, because that's like the skull. Like, you're not going to squish them on their head. You're not going to squish their skull. So if you could get like a firm grip right here, and then your other 3 fingers would hold them more loosely here as you would administer the medicine, and that would be the best way to do it without injuring them or hurting them. I realize that may be a little bit much for some people, because some people may have never held a bird in their life. But as someone who has had birds before, they're very delicate. They're very fragile little creatures. So when you do have to hold them for situations like administering medicine, it can be tricky if you don't know what you're doing. And this is going to be a learning curve no differently. You don't want to squish your birdie of responsibilities, right? So hold them gently. Hold these responsibilities gently in your hand. Firm enough to the point where it's like it's not going to get loose and fly away from you, but delicately enough that you're not going to squish it and kill it either. So I believe in you guys. I believe you guys can handle this. Like I said, I feel like springtime is definitely going to be a season of growth for you, but it's definitely going to succeed in terms of benefits if you allow it. I mean, if you don't allow here, then this is probably going to go nowhere for you over springtime. So it's up to you. Free will is always a play here, and the choice is yours. So that's basically what I have here for you guys for your spring 2024 pick a card reading. If the message didn't flow, let it go. But if it did make sense, let me know and leave me a comment down below. I would love to hear from you, even if it's just with a simple, small emoji. I definitely appreciate it. And also, you guys, give this video a big thumbs up. That definitely helps me out a lot here on the YouTube algorithm. And if I resonated with you as a reader, I invite you to go ahead and subscribe and hit that notification bell, because that way then you will be up to date and in the know every time a brand new video is uploaded, or there's any other kind of like update of information that you guys need to know about. And if I resonate with you as a reader, I also invite you guys to go ahead and check out my website, shadowandshine.com. That is your one-stop shop for everything, as always. So whether you're looking for a personal reading or an oracle deck that you want to add to your collection, that's the place to do it. You can learn more about me there, all that good stuff. So feel free to check that out. And also, I invite you guys to join my Patreon as well. Patreon memberships are open. It's a really great space, a really safe, enjoyable community where hopefully people can connect and make friends and find chosen family, and ultimately find support and encouragement to walk through this crazy existence we call life. There's weekly card pulls, daily card pulls, there's all kinds of things going on there. So I would love to see you over on Patreon. That would be so exciting. So if you're interested in Patreon, my website, my other socials, any of that 411, any of that info, you can find all of that in the description box down below. Otherwise, that's basically it. I want to wish you guys a very blessed and abundant spring of 2024. I know you guys got this. I am sending you guys lots of hugs and much love. Keep sparkling.